Hello, I hope you are doing well. My name is James Sarengia. In this video, I want to share with you a project I did. I did this project using React and Redux. So apart from that, on this project, I'm displaying COVID-19 live data. So I'm getting this data from an open source API. I think the API is called Open Disease Data API. Yeah, you can check it out. So from the API, I'm able to query data, for example, in form of, or rather by continents, by countries. And then with that data, I was now able to build this web application. Yeah, so when you come in, you can be in different views. For example, right now we are in countries view. You can also be in continents view. Yeah, so from here, I decided to collapse the global stats so that we put the focus on the countries. But if you want to see the global stats, sort of the summary, you can just untoggle here and you'll be able to see global stats. Yeah, so that's it. So all these are countries with their respective data. Yeah, so again, we can change to continents view. Yeah, so if you want to have a look at continent view, you can do that. So still here we are having global stats. If you want to see, you can untoggle that. Otherwise, you can check out the different continents. So one thing I really like about the implementation of this is that I'm having, I added this section where you can untoggle to see the countries corresponding to a particular continent. Yeah, for example, here we are in North America. You can see different countries. So if you want to access these countries, you can actually click on the country you want to access, and it will take you to that particular page of that country. And then from there, you can go back home. Yeah, so other than that, there is one amazing feature I have here, which is the ability to filter and also search. And then these filters and searches will adapt based on the view you are in. For example, right now we are in continents view. So our filter is adapting to the continent view. So here we can filter. Yeah, so we've been able to filter the country within, or rather the continent within this range. Yeah, we can change that as we want. Yeah, so we can also clear the filter to reset. And then other than that, we can search. For example, you can search a continent like Africa. We've been able to filter that. And then something I mentioned, if we change the view, for example, to countries view, yeah, here you can see our filters have adapted to countries view. Now we can be able to filter countries. We can even be able to reset. We can be able to search, for example, Kenya. You get the idea. And now if we search Africa, which is a continent, we will not be able to see, okay, what we are seeing are the countries that have the word Africa. Yeah, so that's it. So apart from that, we're having our header here. And then there is something I think it's interesting here. Attention to details. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so if you click here, you can see the active tab. There is this indicator. And so I added this extra page here. Yeah, so apart from that, you can do some actions here. For example, you can sort. And again, this sort adapts to the view you're on. Right now, we are in countries view. So if I click here, I'll be able to sort ascending, that is from the least to the highest, from the least cases reported to the highest, yeah? So I can sort that. I can also sort ascending or rather descending. That is from the highest to the least. Let's do that. So the US had the highest cases. Yeah, you can see that. You can even reset. Sorry. Yeah, so other than that, our web app is very responsive. Actually, I can show you. Let's inspect here and see. Yeah. So no matter the size of your screen, this web app will display perfectly. I don't know, my browser is misbehaving. Kindly behave. Yeah. Yeah. So no matter the size of the screen you're on, the page will display perfectly. Still, so you can see our menu bar moved here. Because in a very small screen, we might not have enough space for it. Yeah, so the functionality still remain as it was. Yeah, so other than that, I want to show you, that is, if you're interested, my code, and just highlight a few things. Yeah, so here is my code. As I said, I'm using React and Redux. Yeah, so I think one of the main thing here is that, let's have a look at our components. Yeah, so here, as you can see, I'm using Sass as opposed to using regular CSS. In my experience, sometimes it's very, very hard when you use regular CSS on a big project like this. Yeah, it's very difficult to maintain. And again, apart from that, I'm using module CSS, or rather module Sass in this case, where I'm scoping the styling on this particular component. So that means I'll never have to worry about my classes spilling over to other components. So when I'm working on this component, I don't have to worry about, will this affect other components and break the design of my application? Yeah, so that is something that is very good. It's something I generally like about React and the ability to scope your styling within a component. So that makes scaling your application very easy. Yeah, so that's that. So apart from that, I'm having my global styles. These are the styles that are applying globally, and actually there are very few. Things like styling affecting the body, my color variables, and other variables you can add there. Things like the row, divider, and all that. Yeah, so that's it. So apart from that, maybe I can highlight Redux. Yeah, so I'm using Redux, and here I'm having my different slices. So the beauty of using Redux is that you can have as many slices as you want, and then kind of consolidate or combine them in just one store, a single store. So the state of the entire application is managed with just one store. Yeah. So for example, here you can see combining all the different reducers, or rather the different slices, in one reducer. Yeah. So I don't want to go into details, but that's it. Maybe one thing I can highlight is country slice. Yeah, so maybe I can talk about how I'm fetching my data. So I'm fetching my data now that, by the way, apart from just using Redux, I'm using Redux Toolkit. Yeah, something that makes working with Redux even more easier. Yeah, so with that toolkit, I'm able to get this. I don't know whether, I think it's let's call it a function, yeah, that I can be able to use to make my API calls. So it's called create async thank. So what this does is that when I make my calls to the API, it handles the status for me. And it does that here. Let me show you. So here in our create slice, we have reducers, the regular reducers. The regular reducers, these are the functions that trigger the updates of states. Okay, but apart from reducers, we have what we are calling extra reducers. So extra reducers, this where we handle, or rather this where we handle our different states of the API calls we are making. For example, here, if you see, we have get countries data. If the status is pending, or rather the API call status is pending, I'm able to add a state I'm able to update a state, a state and say the status is loading. If the status is fulfilled, that is the API has returned some data successfully, I'm able to use that data and update my state with that data. If it's rejected, I'm able to maybe set is loading false. And also you can add some other things here. For example, you throw an error or whatever on the UI and just do whatever you want. Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, and apart from that, what's interesting here? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's majorly it. Not unless you see something and you want me to highlight more, you can tell me. Yeah, so yeah, I'm having a few tests. I'm doing some tests here to make sure that my app is running okay. Yeah, so I think that's majorly it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it.